I brought the Erde 2015 from Sepp from Styria in Austria, and I discovered this wine a few years ago when I was in Vienna at a buffet, and the first thing that struck me was the bottle. Just it was sitting on the bar as part of the tasting menu. I said, I don't know what that is, but it's really interesting, and it's got a beautiful artistic label. And I said, I just want to try it. I mean, pure judging a book by its cover, just a little bit of curiosity, and it was just a really kind of profound, interesting, challenging wine. And then as I got to know the wines from Sepp Musser more, I just fell in love with the domain and all the estate's wines. And the Graffine is one of my personal favorites as well. And I just think it's such a fascinating wine that I had just such a ignorant discovery of, and I just felt so lucky to have stumbled across it that night. And so it always attracts my gaze ever since. So it felt like kind of a fun fitting bottle. And maybe Doug is my dealer of provider of this wine. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, so Sepp and Maria Muster, they're in South Styria, very close to the border of Slovenia, and it's got around sort of 10, 15 hectares, planted to different varieties, Sauvignon and Chardonnay, and this is a blend of Sauvignon and Chardonnay, and then they've also got some Welsh Riesling, Gerber Muscatella, Zweigelt, and Frankish, and bits and bobs of other things. And Sepp's part of a little group called Schmeckt das Leben, Taste of Life, of 5 really interesting biodynamic growers who are making natural wines, and they exchange ideas about winemaking and farming. And when you talk to Sepp, you really talk about the vineyards, because that's what he's interested in, is in the farming. The vines are beautiful. I mean, it's a gorgeous place, surrounded, very hilly, surrounded by forest, and the quality of the grapes is paramount, of course, when you're making any sort of natural wines and not using sulfur, which he isn't now. He makes a couple of skin contact wines. One's called Gräfin, which is Sauvignon, and then he makes a counterpart called Graf. Gräfin is Countess, Graf is Count, and so one has skin contact, the Gräfin, and the other one doesn't. And then there's the Erde, which is 12 months on skins. He's sort of varied it. It used to be 6 months, and then 8 months, and 10, now 12. This is from the 2015 vintage, which was in an area which is quite difficult to make wine, quite marginal. Was probably the last reasonably large vintage they had, although 17 was fair enough. And it always needs to age, at least, he said, like, for every year in the barrel, there should be a year in the bottle before it's released. So normally he would like to age it 2 years in barrel and 2 years in bottle. He doesn't have the luxury. They don't make enough wine, in a bad vintage. You could make anything from 12 to 15,000 bottles, and a good vintage could be 30,000. But there's not a lot of margin for error. And yeah, the labels, I think they're indicative of the wine, So it's a bit like Rothko-esque if you look at it. Erde means earth. There's the sun, the sun, the light, the green, which is the grass, and then the earth, which in the balance, this is the earth wine, so there's much more brown. So think of the vines penetrating this incredible Opok soil, which is the name of the local soil, which is a sort of marly soil, and it has a profound effect on the wine. Gives them intensity and a richness, which we see in all the wines of Styria. They've got this huge mouthfeel, and yet they're not heavy.